Hi everybody, it's Z from Sad Panda Games here. This is gonna be a little bit different from my normal videos, even from the last one that I posted. That is kind of a like a reaction video or anything. This is kind of a reaction video, I guess. It's hopefully not going to be very long, but I don't know if I've actually ever come out and stated like how I feel about third wave feminism and SJW type people on the internet, like their viewpoints basically, and I can't remember if I've done that on my channel. I might have idly mentioned it a couple of times. I'm not sure, but basically I'll say it now. I'm a majority of the views that SJWs and third wave feminists have. I don't agree with. I don't agree with it. I usually am more inclined to agree with some of the other people on YouTube who are in the anti-feminist, anti-SJW community, I suppose, being people like Sargon of Akkad and Chris Raygun, Shoe One Head, Armored Skeptic, Bearing, those kind of people. Um, so I've watched some of their videos. I've watched a lot of their videos, and I've watched some of the videos from people on the other side of the fence too. I've watched a lot of Anita Sarkeesian's videos and some of Lacey Green's older content before she red pilled and even after she red pilled and everything. I've watched a lot of that. I've even watched a couple of videos from the person who is the subject of today, Steve Shives. So pretty much everybody in the anti-SJW community knows who Steve Shives is. I'm not exactly sure what he's like famous for, but basically he's or if he's even famous, I don't know. I'd never really heard of him before third wave feminism came around, and he pops up in a lot of feminist answer questions videos and some feminist videos, and so I mean I've seen him around in a couple of different videos. So I was watching some older Chris Raygun videos today, and one of them he was talking about Steve Shives a little bit, I guess, and about his Twitter, I believe. Yeah, it was his Twitter. It was his Twitter account. Something about his Twitter account and how Steve Shives is apparently really good at blocking people on Twitter because of the fact that they have like differing opinions or anything like that. So this is where my story begins. Basically, I decided to be a little curious. Decided to do a little experiment after watching a couple of Steve Shives videos afterwards. Now, I will say this, I actually fully agree with Steve Shives' opinion on net neutrality. His net neutrality video, great video. Fully agree that the net neutrality laws shouldn't change. So if Steve Shives, if you actually see this video, I don't fully disagree with you on everything. I just disagree about your viewpoints on third wave feminism, or feminism in general, I guess you would say. But I just disagree with you, and we're allowed to disagree with each other. Basically, I was scrolling through his Twitter because I wasn't blocked by him at the time. You can probably see where that's going. But basically, and I'll be looking over here at it. I'll put images up on here of these, but basically I was scrolling through his Twitter and I didn't get a screen capture of the actual tweet that he made, but basically he posted a tweet that was basically, I believe, in response to YouTube kind of cracking down on the pedophilia videos that have been on YouTube. So in his, I can't remember the exact wording of the tweet, but it said something along the lines of maybe YouTube should crack down on the anti-feminist, anti-SJW community. I didn't want to directly respond to that tweet on there. So I decided to respond instead to one. I decided to look through the replies because I figured, oh well, this tweet is perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect to respond to simply because of the fact that I completely disagree with what he's saying in it. So I decided, and I found this other guy, Robert Eugene, is the name he has on his Twitter, or at Atomic Nerfbat. Okay, so this tweet was a couple of days ago, and so was Robert Eugene's tweet. It was on the December 6th. But he says, and he's basically responding to Steve Shives, and he's agreeing with him in it, but he's like being kind of sarcastic. So he's, but my free speech, I have the right to insult, demean, and threaten women who say things online that I disagree with, said every MRA slash alt-right shitheel ever. So, I don't know. So I decided to respond to it. I said, insult and demean, sure, why not? Free speech does protect hate speech, but threats, that's a completely different story. So what he took from that is my first sentence, and he said, insult and demean, sure, why not? Says quite a lot about you if that's the level of discourse you feel necessary to resort to. So I decided to respond because obviously, what I was saying wasn't getting fully across. It wasn't saying. Obviously, I probably could have worded what I said better. So I responded with, "I'm not saying I agree with insulting or demeaning anyone. That said, just because someone insults you or someone else doesn't mean that their opinion should be silenced." Basically, referencing the actual tweet, being that he wants these people to be off of YouTube simply because they have a differing view than him, and this person believes that they just want to be able to insult, demean, and threaten women, and that's not what they want to do at all, and that's not what I want to do at all. So, for anybody who doesn't know, free speech does actually protect hate speech. You can insult people all you want, you can demean them all you want, you can do these things, and it's not against the law. Threats, however, are not hate speech. Threats are like harassment. That is a form of harassment. It's verbal harassment, and it can be enforced by law. So that one is against the law. That's why I said threats are a completely different story. So I decided that this was going to be my experiment to see if the rumors that I've seen around the internet about Steve Shives and blocking people on Twitter was true. And it turns out it's true. I decided to check just a little bit ago, which is amazing. It took him less than like 5 hours to block me from 2 responses to a tweet that wasn't even his. Like, it wasn't even his tweet that I was responding to. I was responding to the tweet that, like a response tweet to his tweet. It was like a double down on that. And it says, and I'm now blocked by Steve Shives. It says you are blocked from following at Steve Shives and viewing at Steve Shives tweets. So I'm completely completely blocked by Steve Shives already in less than a day. It was quite the experiment. I kind of wish I had gotten through more of his tweets. I kind of wish I had gotten through more of his tweets and found more things that I either liked or disliked about what he was saying to get a better, more personal opinion about what Steve Shives is all about, and see like what he has done. I guess I can still try and go and see if his videos are on YouTube. I can go and see if I can watch some of his videos on YouTube and maybe get a better opinion about Steve Shives, because you never know. Steve Shives could be a decent guy. I don't know. I have no idea if he's a decent guy or not. I mean, I certainly like his views on net neutrality, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a good guy. But I did find that kind of funny, because just before I saw this tweet, I saw his video about net neutrality, and I mean, there was a couple other tweets in between there from like a couple of his regular videos that he posts. But the net neutrality one stuck out to me because it's something that I care about, and I might do a video on it myself. But I thought it was kind of funny that he that he put that video out there and then also put this tweet out there saying that he wanted to see these people basically not be on YouTube anymore. Basically see the anti-SJW, anti-feminist community not be a thing on YouTube anymore. Like, not see these YouTubers make these videos. And that's fine, he can have that opinion. It's just, I find it funny that he's then also against net neutrality. He's also against people being able to do just that. Like, if the net neutrality laws change, then, you know, things like Netflix and other services could be completely shut off from people simply because the provider doesn't want to provide that service to you. And So you're saying that's wrong? That's wrong. But it's okay. It's okay. You want it's okay to have these other people's free speech infringed upon on YouTube, um, but not okay for net neutrality laws to change. I understand that might be reaching a bit, might be reaching a little bit, but I still just find it funny that that's his opinion on net neutrality, and then his opinion on this is, oh, they have a dissenting opinion from me. I don't want to see their content on YouTube anymore. I don't want to see them on YouTube anymore. Nope. And maybe they can crack down on that next, because that's something that needs to be cracked down on for sure. And I mean, and you may not totally agree with me. You may not totally agree with what I tweeted at Eugene there, but I mean, and obviously I'll admit my original response, I could have worded it a little better. I could have elaborated a little bit more, but I'm new to Twitter. I have not been on Twitter for very long. I know that it has like a certain character count that you can only tweet with, so I'm not sure how long or how short my responses need to be. So I just haven't gotten into that at all. The funniest thing, though, the person that I actually responded to, the Robert Eugene, he didn't block me. I can still see his tweets. I can see everything that he posts. So that's kind of fun. It's just so I guess I can still look at this guy's and see what this guy thinks, but obviously I don't know whether or not I'll agree with anything that he has to say or anything. Um, that's kind of a funny retweet though. One from a Twitter account called God, and saying, "I know for a fact that Donald Trump has a very small penis. Please retweet this enough that he can't help but respond. Thanks, God." That's kind of funny. It's definitely a joke, but it's still funny. So I find it funny that the person that I actually responded to on Twitter didn't di- didn't block me on Twitter, but Steve Shives did. So apparently he saw what I said and my opinion on things, and it was only a small like glimmer into how I believe on these things. It's not even really what I believe. I mean, it's the law. Like, free speech covers hate speech. Just because someone insults or demeans you doesn't mean that their opinion needs to be silenced and enforced. To enforce silence on that person. It's literally protected by the law. So whether I like it or not, it's not something that you can really change. And I mean, you can change it. You can make laws that dictate what you can and cannot say, but that's a slippery slope. That is a real slippery slope. And it would stifle not only creativity, like in things like books and movies and things like that, because obviously if a book said something that was not covered by these quote unquote hypothetical laws to dictate what you can and cannot say, that book would then be like banned, or the person who wrote it could be imprisoned if they live in that country that's under those laws. It's a slippery slope that we really don't want to go down. Free speech as it is right now, with harassment being a thing that is added onto it, like saying harassing things like threatening someone that you're going to rape them or murder them or any of those things, those are obviously terrible things to say to a person, whether it's over the internet or in person. It's a terrible thing to say to somebody. You shouldn't do it. I mean, you shouldn't really insult people either. You shouldn't insult them just for having an opinion or having said a certain thing. I guess it depends on the situation whether or not an insult is a viable response to it. But even then, it's like you really shouldn't. You should treat everybody with respect, until they do something make you lose that respect. That's the way I see it. Treat everybody as you'd like to be treated, the golden rule, that kind of thing. So that's what I believe personally, is that everybody should treat everybody basically the same until somebody does something that, basically makes it to where you don't want to treat them that way anymore. Like, you want to treat them how they are treating you, go right ahead, right? I'm not saying I agree with eye for an eye, but it's still like, treat others as you'd like to be treated is kind of along the same lines, but it's also more about respect than it is about punishment. So I agree with treat other with the golden rule. I don't agree with eye for an eye personally. But I mean, this video has gone on a little longer than I originally intended it to do. But I just found it kind of funny that my little experiment actually, I was expecting it to be like, I don't know. I don't know how fast Twitter works. I don't know if he got like an alert that somebody responded. Like, I have one follower on my Twitter right now, as of the making of this video anyway. I have one follower on my Twitter, so I don't tweet very much. Pretty much it's just my videos that come out as automatic tweets from YouTube. And other than that, it's been maybe a response or two to some of her tweets, because it's a personal friend of mine that is a follower currently. So and that's my only follower. I mean, Twitter means basically nothing to me right now because it doesn't do anything for me. I don't have people talking to me on it. I don't have people following me on it. I don't know. I'm following a couple of people. I think what really did it was that I don't think it was actually my tweets that did it, honestly, that got me banned from Steve Shives. I think it's the fact that after I tweeted those things at him, I decided, okay, I'm just going to increase the pot just a little bit more. I'm just going to make it just a little bit more likely that he will block me at some point, and went and followed both of Sargon and Akkad's Twitter accounts. So I don't know which one did it, whether it was my tweets about free speech and that stuff, or if it was me following Sargon Akkad. I don't know what did it. I honestly don't care. Anybody who's not open to hearing a different opinion from them doesn't deserve the time of day from me, basically. If you're not open to hearing my opinion about these things, whether you want to believe them or not, or have your own opinion of the subject changed or not by the time you stop talking to me, that means nothing to me. If what does mean something to me is just being heard, just knowing that my opinion has been heard and has gotten out there, and people have seen or heard my opinion on these things and either agreed with or disagreed with me. I certainly, that's what I look at. I look at that as, sharing ideas, pushing things forward, whether my voice has any kind of large impact on the world or not. At least I know that I put my opinion out there. I made myself vulnerable in that way, that I am putting my opinion out there. I'm putting my thoughts out there. I'm doing these things to, I'm exposing myself, I guess, basically by doing this. And it's just fun that it's fun to do. It's fun to hear other people's ideas and opinions on things, and it's fun to know that your own opinions and ideas on things are being heard by other people. It's just, to me, it's a fun idea. It's creativity. It's thinking creatively by being able to collaborate with other people, and even oppose other people, to be able to basically come to a conclusion at some point, between the two opinions, maybe have a compromise between the two opinions, I'm friends with people who have dissenting opinions from me. Not all of my friends agree 100% with everything that I believe or that I think or that I do. Not every one of my friends does that. My mom doesn't agree with my atheism, yet we still get along wonderfully, even though she's a Christian and I'm an atheist. It doesn't matter. We're still, she's still my mom. I'm still son slash daughter, and it's still one of those things where it doesn't matter. I can still get along with people whether we agree with different things or not, whether we agree on religion or social justice or feminism or men's rights, free speech, any of these subjects. It doesn't really matter whether we agree or not. If I like you as a person and want to be friends with you, I will be friends with you. It's one of those things. If we can find common ground, and if that common ground is video games or books, comics, whatever it might be, maybe we have something in common in like we've lived in a state together or something, or we've had the same kind of experiences in life or something like that. Maybe something like that. Those are the things to me matter. Your opinions on like your political opinions and things like that. You can have a completely different political opinion from me. You can have a completely different opinion on feminism from me. I don't really care. You can have these different opinions. I might want to debate you. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that I'll want to debate you. I do love debating people. My friends know this. It might actually, I'm actually pretty sure it annoys them. I'm almost 100% sure that my debates annoy the hell out of my friends. Um, but it is what it is, and that's the way that I am. But this video went on a bit longer than I originally intended. Uh, I guess I got to rambling there a little bit, but I do want to thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.